I am sure many of you, if you watch YouTube, have seen plenty of videos where you have a person, the content creator, and he's walking down a sidewalk in the city. Maybe he's downtown San Francisco or somewhere in California or just anywhere. And he is pointing out all of the vacant stores that he sees. This one's for lease. This one has moved. This one has closed. I've seen plenty of these videos. And so, what do you think our cities are going to look like once all these places have closed up? What are they going to do with these buildings? They got to do something with them. Are they going to tear them down and build data centers? I don't think that's too far from probably what's going to happen. If you have a skyscraper and the retail area of it is empty, and the office area, because office spaces are closing up as well, because you've got people, they don't want to go to the office, they want to work at home now. So nobody goes to an office. What are they going to do with these buildings? These cost millions and millions and millions to build. Well, they're not going to tear them down. They're probably going to turn them into some sort of data center. We need data because, well, we have the cloud. We have all kinds of things that we use in our daily life, your security cameras, that use data. And I believe in the future, because you're not going to have mom and pop shops. We already don't have them. So what are they going to do with all this space? And I think what is going to happen even more into the future, places like Dollar General, they're never going out of business, and Walmart. But these bigger companies are going to, and they've been doing it for years, they're going to start shutting down the smaller companies. It's like the movie Idiocracy. If there was ever a movie that is coming true, that is, it couldn't be more true than that movie. If you haven't seen it, watch it. I believe, I may be wrong, it's been a while since I've watched it, but I believe Costco was like the only company in the world. And if you wanted something, that's where you went, was to Costco. And nobody drank water anymore. They drank some kind of a Gatorade type drink. See, I'm bungling this up already, but if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. And people got stupider. And well, we're seeing that today, aren't we? People are really getting dumb. If you're voting in communism and socialism, there can't be too much intelligence out there, is there? But I sat yesterday and I'm trying to come up with what do you think they're going to do? What are the cities of the future going to look like? Is the population going to explode and it's all going to be housing? How are we going to feed all these people if we don't have, you're still going to have grocery stores. But now it's getting to the point where people are having it delivered to their home. So maybe in the future, there's no going to a store. It's probably a closed warehouse where your Uber robot is going to go in, automatically know where to go, select the items you want. You can probably click on a link and watch him shop. Say, hey, Kate, hey, robot, no, reach to the back and get a fresher one. There you go. Okay, that's a good robot. Maybe it's your own robot, because we're supposed to all have them. I wouldn't mind one here to help dig up a stump and mop the floors and scrub that toilet. Things I don't enjoy. Hang a shower curtain. Did that this morning. Don't ask me why, but I despise that job, hanging a shower curtain. It sucks. But I got it done. I think all of this is going to happen. Everybody will have their own personal robot. You send that dude out, maybe he pops out put some shoes on him, or he pops out some wheels and he can go 60 miles an hour to the grocery warehouse, loads up. Maybe he can push a buggy. I don't know what he does. Maybe his name is Fred and you got a good one, and he goes and he can run all the errands for you. And then you're going to have Americans. They're already getting there, but what are they going to do? If they have nothing to do, they're going to be stuck in their house. I think the government wants you to be stuck in your house all the day because you're easy to control if they know where to find you. We're running around all the time. Well, that does a lot of things that, if you stayed home more, would make things a lot easier in the country. You wouldn't use as much gasoline because you wouldn't have anywhere to go. You wouldn't need to. There's not going to be parks. They're going to be filled with data centers. So people of the future are probably going to be inside more than ever. I don't know. I'm just coming up with things. But these retail spaces are really starting to explode. And then you got companies like Walmart. And we've all seen this throughout the country. When Walmart started, they were in small towns. The small town I grew up in, which is now a big town, but it had a Walmart, and it was the little small size, grocery store size department store. And then what they've done over the course of the last 30 years, they have closed all of those small ones down, and they just left them standing. And they have built giant supercenters. Even in these small towns, everyone has a giant supercenter with groceries because they discovered that they could corner the grocery store market. And so when they opened these supercenters in these small towns, the small grocers who had been in business for many, many years couldn't compete with Walmart's prices, and they went out. So now you have the small Walmart that they've closed the doors on. And then you have the grocery stores. And some of them were pretty good size, your average grocery store. But you have these buildings that are now vacant all across America. And they're very large spaces. And nobody's renting them. Nobody's buying them. Now, that happened in the town closest to me. Fortunately, a Ace Hardware went in there, and a auto parts store and a tire store. 3 businesses into the old Walmart building. So at least we got a business out of it. But they just announced one day they were closing because it's a high theft rate. It was a high theft rate in that store. Of course, they don't want to use that as the excuse while they're closing. And when they shut that store down, that left really nothing in this town. And to this day, we don't have a Walmart. I don't see us getting one because, well, it's the poverty level here it's not enormous, but it's enough to where you have a lot of young people on this meth, and they go in and they steal, and Walmart doesn't put up with that. Target doesn't put up with that. That's why they're closing a lot of these stores in Los Angeles and New York that have the high, the places especially that you can go and steal $900 worth of items and they're not going to bother you. Well, that's like an invite to somebody that's a thief and doesn't want to work for a living and a drug addict. And so that's what you're getting. You're getting all these buildings that are closing. And places like Walmart, it's like the malls. You had your JCPenney, you had your anchor stores, you had your JCPenney, your Sears, Macy's, whatever it was. They were your anchor stores. And when they closed shop, rest of the mall followed suit. All the little stores would close, and now we have giant retail shopping centers, the malls, with nothing in them, or they're closed. And there's only a few left in the entire country. And it's just not something, I don't think it's something young people do anymore. They'd rather get online and order. I would rather get online and order at my age. I don't want to go walk around some mall with a bunch of people. But what are you going to do with these spaces? And why did they want to build these data centers? Why not use these old buildings? Because they can't. It would cost them too much to invest to convert them into. I don't even know what a data center does other than store data. But I know they use a lot of electricity. They use a lot of water. It's ridiculous. And then you got places like California. A few weeks ago, there was that great big warehouse, I think it was, that burnt down, and the entire roof of it was solar panels. They are all gung-ho for this green energy, this solar power energy. Yet that's what caused the fire. And so you got all this black smoke billowing out of the building. I don't even know if they ever got it out, but it was terrible. And that isn't the first time we've seen things that happen in California because of the environment. They don't clear the brush. Uh, and when you don't clear the brush, I live in a national forest. If they didn't clear all the dead timber and the brush, we would have a forest fire every year here. But our Forest Service here is very good about that. And I've lived here almost 15 years, and we've had some fires, but they were under control rather quickly. California doesn't do that. They leave it lay. There's a lot of things that's hard. It's just hard to keep up with things today in our country, the things that are changing and people's beliefs. I don't know where a lot of this is coming from. I'm going to say that when our borders were left open for so long, we've had people that are coming in here that don't think like the average American. We have people coming here that were pretty much enslaved all their life by their governments. And so they don't mind getting rid of some freedoms that we have. I don't know what else it could be, because I wasn't raised to believe communism and socialism is the best way to go. I wasn't believed or raised that you didn't have to work for nothing in your life. And then you hear people, young generations, complaining that they can't afford to buy a house. Well, but they're also at the same time begging for free health insurance. They want a check from the government. Well, somebody has to pay for that. If you don't want to work, you're going to get a whole generation of people that don't want to work. Well, where's the free stuff going to come from? It doesn't work that way. And communism especially, we know that it doesn't work from our history, from history of the world. Russia, it didn't work there. It didn't work in Cuba. It's working in China only because they make everything we got. There's so much money being pumped into China, but you don't see what the average citizen, what their life is like. They're very good at hiding that. I guarantee you, they barely have enough to eat. The factory workers, they're making nothing for wages. It's all going to the government. It's all going to build something. But I don't know where our world's going to be in 20 years. And if we keep electing, and when I say we, I don't mean me. I'm not voting for none of them communists or socialists. You keep electing mayors and like that Mandami, you keep electing these people with these ideas. It's only a matter of time before the president has that agenda. And I don't want to be here when that's going on. I just don't want to be here. We're just going to have to watch. New York City is probably going to be the best example. And some of the crazy things this guy wants to do, it isn't going to work. I mean, you don't need a whole lot of intelligence to know the things he's trying to implement it's not going to work. When you take all the buildings in New York and you tell the landlords, hey, this is the maximum rent you can charge, they are not able to keep maintenance up on that building. They're not going to invest anything into that building, and they can't even sell it because nobody wants to buy something that has all the rules that they will have to follow now. These new mayors, these new governors, they want to get rid of law and order, and that doesn't work. They want to close prisons down. They've closed mental institutions down years ago. We're seeing the results of that. Somehow that gets ignored by the majority. I don't understand why. But I think a lot of these mentally ill people have now worked their way into the government. Just because someone's mentally ill doesn't make them stupid. They can still be very intelligent and still be mentally ill. And I think that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of these people. And then they're going to get the mentally ill to follow them. What else could it be, man? I don't know. That's one of the main reasons I live the way I do. But it's only you're fooling yourself if you live rural. If you live rural and you're under the mindset that it's never nothing like that is ever going to come here. Well, you're mistaken because it will. The effects of all this affect everybody in this country. And unless we do something about it and stop it, I don't know, man. I don't know where we're going to end up. Now, we have basically two parties in our political system, two big parties, the Democratic Party, the Republican Party. One side has went way off. I mean, they went nuts. They went nuts. Even those of you who are Democrat and have been Democrat in the past, you gotta say, hey, man, this is getting too much. This is getting crazy. And I'm talking about the progressives, the far left, and there's crazy people on both sides. There's far rights that have some crazy ideas, but for the most part, the left has went. They're out in outer space, and now they're embracing these communists and these socialists. I don't know. I've never been real deep into politics, but this is what I'm seeing. And I think if any of them get a hold of the White House next election, we're in bad trouble. We have some good choices. I'm not going to tell you who mine are. They're already in some big offices, but there's two guys I have in mind. There's absolutely no one on the Democrat side that I would even consider, not even close to being qualified to run this country. But if somebody comes up, hey, I'm not in a party, I'm independent, nobody's come forward yet that could do anything. And this Newsom guy, that guy, and it wouldn't surprise me if he got elected. It's just the way things have gone in the last 20 years. This guy has run his state into the ground. Most of them hate him. But it wouldn't surprise me a bit if he could run for president and win. And he could probably put that Tim Walz as his vice president. I tell you, now you get me worked up over there, you in the brown recliner. All right, I guess that's all I got. I'm going to work myself into a fluster if I keep going. Now I try to keep the heavy politics out of my podcast, but the way our country is going today, it's all politics. It's crazy thinking people and the people that vote for these people. And we need to take our country back. We're never going back to the 70s. We're never going back to the 80s. But we are not headed in the right direction. And I think a lot of you, Democrat, Republican, whatever you are, we know this. The people with common sense know this. And if we don't get a grip on it, we're cooked. We are cooked. Thanks for watching. Happy trails.